Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Dave C. Straight from the Pit. In this episode, we're going to talk about 1988 Rolling Thunder. I thought I would bring it outside today to take a look at it, and maybe we'll go back down in the pit later, and I'll bring it down there for maybe a closer look. But I sort of did like a snow diorama here with some Arctic Joes um, on the Rolling Thunder. But yeah, it's just a great vehicle, and it kind of reminds me of the vehicle in the movie Spies Like Us, the 1985 movie Spies Like Us, with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd, where they kind of go and have to intercept a Soviet rocket system. And yeah, but anyway, you can see the driver here, Armadillo. He looks a little bit chilly. He's up to his butt in a snowbank, and I have no idea why he's not wearing a winter coat. I think that guy's going to catch a cold if he doesn't watch it. Yeah, it's just a great vehicle to have, and I got it a few years ago. Really happy to get it because it was the biggest vehicle you could get in 1988, and I remember seeing it back then in the toy catalog, but it was quite pricey, and I knew that I probably would never own one. Just got to make sure I don't trip with this on the way in. Got quite a bit of snow here. So back inside now, looking at the Rolling Thunder, and as you can see, it's quite large, and it's almost as tall as the USS Flag um, personnel communications area, and because the two Lightning rockets stick right up and are almost as tall. It's about maybe 6 or 7 inches shy of being as tall as the USS Flag. Only because the Flag has the radar stuff on the top, really. But yeah, I thought I would do another size comparison. Put some 1983 Mobat tanks, 82, 83 Mobat tanks alongside it. And I remember distinctly in the catalog and in the packaging back then that this thing was advertised as 3.5 feet long, fully extended. So when you take three Mobat tanks and put them alongside it, it's actually as long as that. So that shows how big this thing is too. And for another size comparison, I thought I'd put a common Cobra tank, probably the most common Cobra tank, alongside it. So there's a Cobra Hiss tank alongside it. And as you can see, it looks pretty small compared to this thing. If you take a a G.I. Joe figure and put him beside the wheels, you can kind of see how big one of the wheels is. It's actually pretty much as tall as a G.I. Joe guy. So these wheels are quite massive. There's 8 of them, and just a really, really cool design. And you can totally see how he designed it off of that Aliens movie. And this is the driver that came with it, Armadillo, which is kind of a funny name because we already had a tank that came out in 1985 called the Armadillo. So to have a figure named that a few years later was kind of weird. But yeah, and a lot of people don't like this guy just because he looks a little bit strange. He's kind of wearing like a green tank top with a helmet and some funny pants. But whatever. I mean, that's part of the nostalgia. He came with it. Doesn't matter if people think he is stupid or not or whatever. He's the guy that came with it. So when you put other guys on it that you like all the 82, 83 original guys, it looks really, really awesome. And it looks good too with the 88 guys on it from that year. A little bit different because they're a little bit mishmash of colors. Here's the catalog that came with the toys in 1988. And as you can see on the art, the Rolling Thunder was the premier vehicle for that year. The big 3 that year being the X-19, which was a stealth jet, the Rolling Thunder, and the Cobra Bug. And there's the Cobra Bug. But yeah, the Rolling Thunder was definitely the biggest play set for that year. Kind of dueled as a play set and a vehicle because of how massive it was. And here's a look at it in the catalog here. The picture had a nice little write-up back then. And it retailed at $22.99 US in 1988. Put the original 13 1982 G.I. Joe team on it, and I kind of like how they look on it because the green is like the olive drab military green, and with the grays and the red missiles kind of match Grand Slam and Flash's chest pads. There's Flash there on one of the machine guns. But yeah, just a really big vehicle, really fun to play with. And it came with 9 missiles, 2 lightning rockets, they're called, which later on you'll hear Guy Cassidy talk about how there actually were nuclear warheads. But it doesn't actually say that on the packaging. But anyway, they were, so that's not in question. But I think it's just because at that time, production team was looking for the most heavily armed thing they could ever have. And this thing definitely fits the bill. Like I was saying, it has 9 missiles all the way around it. The two lightning rockets, 4 double machine gun chair posts, It's got a machine gun on the front with a radar dish. It's got a large cannon at the front that can swivel back and forth. It's got a really large tank turret that is actually longer than the 1985 G.I. Joe Mauler tank, which was the biggest G.I. Joe tank, really, for the size of the cannon on the front. The Slugger had a big one too, but this bad boy here is even bigger than that one. So it's pretty heavily armed, like I was saying, and it seats 11 Joes, and as you can see here, I've got General Hawk down there with Grunt on the inside. There's a seat down there, and there's a spot, a little control panel that Grunt's manning. And then, of course, there's the canopy. I've got Scarlet and Steeler in there. And there's seat belts that you can use. I'm not really a big fan of the seat belts. That was more of a 90s thing that started happening. But, yeah, all the seat belts are on this one. So that's a good thing. But yeah, just a really, really cool vehicle. And one of the favorite spots I like on it is right here on the front. And I like to take my favorite early 80s G.I. Joe figure, or my favorite figure in general, as everybody knows. It's Stalker. And I put him there because it's kind of like a jump off point with his jump pack. But anyway, I thought now we could listen to a little bit of Guy Cassiday's take on this this G.I. Joe vehicle, as he's the guy who designed it. So let's listen to that.
Mobile Command Center, how do you top that? You know, that was quite a successful thing. Now the challenge is come up with something that can match that play value wise. So for 2 weeks straight, I kept drawing, I kept thinking of stuff, my brain hurt. Nothing was flowing. I was trying to force it out. And when I began working on it, I was thinking about Aliens. And I'm going to go see the first day of release of the movie Aliens. So, okay, fine. The morning of, I'm sitting at my desk, and the head of Voice Toys, Bob Prufus, comes by. And I said, hey, Bob, let me talk to you about this. What do you envision as the ultimate G.I. Joe vehicle? And he goes, well, you know, it's got to be heavily armed, lots of armament, lots of big guns, maybe lots of men, lots of guys on this thing, and with guns everywhere, bristling with missiles, long-range missiles, just really powerful. I said, okay. I went off to see the movie Aliens, which the first movie scared the crap out of me. The second one did as well. And of course, nowadays, those creatures don't scare anybody in the 20-something range. Anyway, there was a reconnaissance vehicle in the movie Aliens. I looked at it, I said, oh, that's a customized real-world vehicle. That it's a jet support vehicle. They usually would see them under the wings of aircraft. There were these like big Kleenex boxes with gigantic tires that were the same diameter as the height of the vehicle. And the guy sat almost on the ground driving it, and they would go underneath it. And just as they said, oh, we're going to crash through these barriers that were created by the aliens, I guess it was this goo or whatever this silicone junk was, they said, okay, prepare for ramming. And they flashed to the roof, and this gun moved down the top of the roof and then down the back of the vehicle. And that was it. I went, oh, that's it. I went back to work the next day and drew the Rolling Thunder. I had so much fun doing it. This is the presentation rendering. You can see this initial one doesn't have the canopy nor the retractable steps.
So you were starting on this in '86?
Oh, yeah. But you could see the initial concept. It didn't have a turret that slid back rearward. It would actually pivoted up. And then there was one gigantic single missile stowed below.
Is this nuclear?
It wasn't promoted as that. We never talked. But they were nuclear warheads. It did have a reconnaissance vehicle that came out of the belly of it. That's actually kind of fun.
That is fun. I like the angle.
It was probably my crowning achievement for G.I. Joe because it just did so much. It was so impactful, size-wise, as Bob Hooper said, bristling with missiles. It's a heavily armored vehicle to kick Cobra's butt. Mobile Command Center, how do you top that? You know, that was quite a successful thing. Now the challenge is come up with something that can match that play value-wise.
Another cool thing that came with it was this little scout car. And it's got like the little ride-up ramp that can go up. It can sit up inside. There's tons of room in there. But yeah, there's just so many different accessories for this thing. It also came with a missile rack. So when you close all this down, like I don't want to do it now because I don't want to break anything. But when you take these rockets and you put them down, they kind of fit in these recesses here. And then this tank turret, it slides back on top of this when it's down. And then these hatches close. And you have a sealed unit. And then that's when you take this missile system and put it on top. So when you include this missile system, there's actually more like 15 or 16 missiles on it, not including the giant rockets. So yeah, just a formidable killer machine that if Cobra saw this thing coming down the road, I'm pretty sure they'd run away pretty quick. The Rolling Thunder first appeared in G.I. Joe number 80, which was a late November issue. And it didn't appear in the Sumbo animated series because Sumbo was already all wrapped up by then. The last edition being the 1987 movie. So it didn't see any cartoon time. But in this issue, you can see it's right on the cover. And this one takes place, it says 200 miles from Cobra Island in the Gulf of Mexico. And the issue is actually called Rolling Thunder. Yeah, as I remember, this one plays out that the Joes are in need of a special vehicle to help them in the battle. And the Rolling Thunder is dropped down to assist them. There's Cobra maggot tanks brought into battle. Some Cobra bugs. And there it is there being flown in by a Tomahawk. Yeah, so many of these 80s issues, they were still trying to sell the toys, so introductions like this were really important to the brand because they were marketing everything. So they were marketing in this one like the Cobra Bug, the Cobra Maggot, and of course the Rolling Thunder that this review is about. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video. And for anybody who's maybe looking at getting a 1988 G.I. Joe Rolling Thunder, I recommend it because it is a really, really fun vehicle, and for being a later G.I. Joe vehicle, it really still has that really special feeling that G.I. Joe gave us for years and years. And it's just such a massive one. And to be completely honest, when I first heard about it as a kid, I was like, yeah, I don't know. But you know, when you see it in person and you actually have it, it's really wild and really cool. It's actually to me like a grail. People talk about things being grails in GI Joe, and everyone talks about the USS Flag and the Terrordrome and those ones. But I think this one is up there. Like you got the Terrordrome, the Flag, the Defiant, maybe the MCC from '87, and then next in line for me would be this thing because it's just such a monumental piece. And there were a lot of cool things that came out in 1988, including like Tiger Force and a lot of the '88 guys that I did a video on the other day. And but this was definitely the best vehicle. This one in the Bug for 1988, and probably X19 also. But anyway, okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. Take care.